Ontario Superior Court has ruled that Iran's Revolutionary Guard is a terrorist entity under Canadian law. The courts have shown leadership while this government refuses to ban the IRGC. So my question is to the Attorney General. Now that the precedent has been set, will he advise all federal government departments that the IRGC is to be considered a terrorist organization under Canadian law? Will he respect the court decision, yes or no?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, first I want to underline that we stand with women who are marching for their rights in Iran. We stand with those who have been protesting here in Canada. We continue to engage with members of the community here because we know that this is a critical time to stand up for human rights. And, Mr. Speaker, as I've said now on numerous occasions, that is why we have gone further than just looking at the IRGC as a problematic contributor to the transgression of human rights. We've targeted the entirety of the Iranian regime, Mr. Speaker, including members of the IRGC, which is a very effective tool that we can use to ensure that Canada will never be used as a safe haven for the transgression of human rights.
Mr. Speaker, the actions of Iranian and Chinese operatives in Canada has received a pathetic response from this government. Canada has become a doormat for foreign interference. Is the government aware of Article 41.1 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations? It states that all persons enjoying privileges and immunities in Canada have a duty to, and I quote, respect the laws and regulations of the receiving state. They also have a duty not to interfere in the internal affairs of that state. Mr. Speaker, other nations expel pseudo-diplomats and agents. Does the government even understand the concept of persona non grata?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
I want to be unequivocally clear that the government has taken decisive actions in sanctioning the Iranian regime, including most recently using a sparingly used provision under the IRPA Act to ensure that no one in the most senior echelons of the regime can set foot here or use Canada in any way as a safe haven to advance their transgression of human rights or terrorist activities. Mr. Speaker, we will stand with women in Iran. We will stand with all those who are protesting. We will stand with the community to stand up for human rights both here and around the world. Thank you very much.
Minister Sodi and Minister Mendocino, why are we not committing to a registry of foreign agents?
Well, the first thing I would highlight is that we will never tolerate foreign interference of any variety. And we have already invested and put into place some very concrete tools to ensure that our national security apparatus has the capacity to both detect and interrupt foreign interference in all of its various forms. I would begin by highlighting the legislation that our government introduced and passed in 2019 under Bill C-59, which equipped CSIS with new authorities to engage in threat reduction measures, while at the same time guaranteeing that we have transparency and accountability when those powers and authorities are used to interrupt potential threats to our national security through the creation of NSIRA. You also heard throughout my remarks that we have a national cybersecurity strategy, which will manifest in the passage of Bill C-26 as well. And this is landmark legislation because it looks to identify a number of key critical infrastructure areas, including the financial sector, the telecommunications sector, the innovation sector, and the transportation sector, all of which will work very closely with the private sectors and the implicated federal regulators in that space to make sure that we can guard against foreign interference. And what you hear today is that we are putting in place an Indo-Pacific strategy which looks to leverage the many opportunities that exist economically through our key strategic partnerships and allies in that region. But woven throughout that strategy is an integrated approach when it comes to our national security. Now, of course, we remain very open to always examining new threats as they materialize on the national security landscape. And of course, we are in the throes of discussing a wide range of options, including potentially the creation of a foreign agent registry. But I want to assure all Canadians that we are on guard against those threats, that we have put in place the tools that are necessary to mitigate against those threats, and we will continue to do so through the launch of this important strategy today.